How do religion, homosexuality, and spirituality fit together? I do past life regression and higher self hypnosis, and I did a session with a client who is gay and also feels like she has a tremendous amount of religious programming left over in her. In a previous life, she was male and a minister. His wife ended up dying, and he felt lost because she was his rock. He was very sad, but he said that the death helped his feelings to God get even stronger. He felt a sense of gratitude towards God for the time that he did have with his wife. He didn't understand why she died, but he accepted it. When he was a young child, he saw his father get hung. His mother couldn't handle it, and he literally had to take over running and managing the family. He wasn't allowed to be a boy anymore, but he turned to God. He turned to God for strength and to help him fulfill his duties. He lived a pretty simple life as a minister and said that the lesson he learned in that life was that there is beauty in simplicity. Bringing it back to the present day, my client is now female, and unaware of the fact that she was a minister in a previous life, she said that she had a tremendous amount of religious programming stored in her subconscious and wanted to know if we could do a sort of search and rescue mission with her higher self to remove the religious programming and replace it with truth, with a capital T, God's truth. Not religion's truth, God's truth. Her higher self said, "Yes, I can do that." And her higher self put those beliefs in a bubble that was black. It was large and floated upward until it was no longer visible. Then, in the mental image in her mind, she said she saw the skies open up, the clouds part, and light came down and shone upon her. Then she heard a voice in her mind telling her that the only truth is that God is love. I asked how she felt getting rid of all that religious programming, and she said it was very peaceful and very humbling. Next, I turned to the issue of her being gay in this lifetime. I asked if she felt any guilt over being gay or if she fully accepts that fact. Her higher self said there is some residual unacceptance, but she wanted to be different. And reading the notes from my screen, my next question was, why did she choose to come into this life being gay? Was that her plan or her thinking? Her higher self said to understand how to love others who have been hurt, maybe persecuted in ways that were no fault of their own. It has actually helped her to find God. I said, "How so?" And her higher self said, "Because she has had to step outside of religion to find peace and sanity. Religion was killing her, but she could not leave God. So it has helped her to separate the two." Her higher self described acceptance being like an observer. Her higher self said, "You're just taking note of things. You don't have an attachment to anything. So accepting whatever happens, good or bad, and just noticing it. You don't label it good or bad. You just be there with it. When your energy is in acceptance," her higher self said, "you're vertically aligning your energy with source. Whereas in non acceptance, your energy is bleeding out all around you. And no matter what is going on around you with acceptance, you're steady and you're stable." So while many people might judge someone who is gay as living a lifestyle that's unacceptable, they're only looking at the surface and not looking past it at the soul of the person who's experiencing that. What are they learning? And why did they maybe on a soul level choose to come and experience that? Besides the fact that judgment is shrouded in fear, it's also an indicator of complete ignorance of a soul's journey and not taking it into consideration whatsoever, and just being involved in the visible, in the ego mind, and what you see in front of you without looking beyond that. My higher self taught me this a long time ago. If it's not my journey, it's not my business. There's no need for me to give my opinion about someone else's soul path and the lessons their soul wants to learn and experience. So, if a choice that someone else is making about their life is not hurting me or anyone else, why would I feel a need to judge them? So, what are some instances in your life where you've maybe looked at someone else and how they're living and judged them unfairly without knowing their soul path or their soul journey? Where you could instead replace it with the mantra of, not my journey, not my business.